Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, April 8th, 2024. Yeah, it's the day of the solar eclipse. We'll see it here in Davenport. It's time for Bible Reading Fellowship. We're going to pick up our reading this morning in Isaiah 46. Isaiah 46, reading out of the Legacy Standard Bible, the LSB. If you do not have your own copy of this fine translation, you can open up a second tab on in your computer, and in the search bar, type read, R-E-A-D. .lsbible.org, read.lsbible.org. When that page opens up, good morning, Sarah. When that page opens up, simply type Isaiah 46 in the search window there provided, hit enter. That'll bring up the text, follow along as we read, and when we get to the end of the chapter or the bottom of the page, you can click on the right arrow, and that'll move you right on to chapter 7. John, good afternoon. I think I got a couple of new videos for you guys since we met on Friday. I think I posted some on Saturday. Yeah, I got a couple here. Put in a couple links. So these two videos are actually related. First one is a full conversation with a young man named Calvin. I think I mentioned that to you. Toward the end of the conversation, he says to us, you guys changed my life today. So we're hoping that it wasn't us and just influencing him with our words, but that it would be the Spirit of God causing him to be born again. So that first link is to the conversation with Calvin. The second link is a brief excerpt, only about 3-4 minutes, where I share the analogy of a burning car to explain how an ectopic pregnancy, oftentimes those who are in favor of abortion will bring up life of the mother, ectopic pregnancies, things like that. And so I use an analogy of a burning car to answer that objection. And so maybe you'll find those useful. So I'll share those links a couple more times for those who are logging in a little later. Oh, hey, Samantha, how are you? Didn't see you there. Good afternoon, sis. Glad you could join us today. So I think the eclipse here is supposed to hit like from 2 to 3 p.m. 2 o'clock, I think, is when it's at its fullest. So maybe like from 1 to 3. I don't know how my dog's going to react to that. I don't know if my dog will care. I don't know how animals react to those kind of things. Morning, Chris. We'll wait a couple more minutes and then see if any more of the regulars log in. There's Maria. Good morning, Maria. Again, if you're just logging in, here are a couple of links to videos I posted on Saturday. Ross, hey Ross, how are you? Good morning. Glad to hear it. So last night, Maria and Amanda and I had an opportunity to visit another church, a man who is a volunteer leader of a young adult college ministry at a church in Moline. Um, had seen me a number of times out at Harrison and Locust with my cross, um, and he was talking to the kids in this group about evangelism and said, "Hey, maybe I should have this guy come talk to us." And I guess he looked for a while again, and we just didn't see each other. And so one day he stopped. A few weeks ago, he stopped and said, "Would you be willing to do this?" I said, "Yeah. Here's my contact. Here's the contact information for my pastor. Give him a call and see if we could work that out." Well, last night was the night, and we had dinner with them at the church there, and then I spent an hour talking about evangelism and answering questions for about a dozen or so college age young adults. And that was a nice time. That was a nice opportunity to minister to those folks. In fact, one of them, my brother Jason, uh, one of one of the men in my church, he and I are going out to the University of Iowa on Thursday, and um, he's going to meet us out there. He's a student out there at the University of Iowa. His name's Charlie, and so he said, "Can I just come and watch and see what you do?" And I said, "Yeah, you bet. That'd be great." So looking forward to that happening. Chris, what do you think? What do you mean? What do I think will happen? I don't understand your question. Are you talk if you're talking about the clips, the moon's going to move in front of the sun, and then it's going to move away from the sun. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Nothing else is going to happen. It doesn't mean anything other than the fact that the sun and the moon and the earth will all be lined up for a little bit, and we'll all go ooh and ah. Yeah. Anyone who's saying that you know it means anything other than the fact that it is an astrological, astronomical event, doesn't know what they're talking about. Preachers who are saying, "Oh, this means this or this means that. It's coming over America, and this means this for that for America." They're just talking nonsense. It means nothing. The only thing that's going to happen today is the moon's going to cross in front of the sun, between the earth and the sun, and it's going to create a spectacle in the sky for a couple of hours, and then it'll move on, and nothing's going to happen during that 2 hours other than the skies are going to get dark, and then the skies are going to lighten up again, and we're all going to go about our days. That's all it means. Doesn't mean anything more than that. So, all right, let's begin our time in a word of prayer, and we will get started. Father, thank you for this morning, Lord. Thank you for the rest you gave each of us during the night, whatever that might have looked like. Thank you, at least for here in Iowa, the morning sun and the sunrise. Thank you for the clear skies. Thank you for the birds singing in the trees. Thank you, Father, for this day that you've given us. Help us, Lord, to rejoice and be glad in it. And may our joy in you, Father, be our strength throughout this day, no matter what the day may bring. Father, help us to love you with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Help us today to love our neighbors as ourselves. Help us, Father, to worship you in spirit and in truth throughout the day. And may we worship you now through the reading of your word, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right. Spurgeon's morning devotion for April 8th is drawn from Luke 23:31, which reads, "If they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry?" Spurgeon writes, among other interpretations of this suggestive question, the following is full of teaching. If I, the innocent substitute for sinners, suffers thus, what will be done with when the sinner himself, the dry tree, shall fall into the hands of an angry God? When God saw Jesus in the sinner's place, he did not spare him. And when he finds the unregenerate without Christ, he will not spare them. O sinner, Jesus was led away by his enemies, so shall you be dragged away by fiends to the place appointed for you. Jesus was deserted of God, and if he, who was only imputedly a sinner, was deserted, how much more shall you be? Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. What an awful shriek. But what shall be your cry when you shall say, O God, why hast thou forsaken me? And the answer shall come back, because you have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. If God spared his own, not his own son, how much less will he spare you? What whips of burning wire will be yours when conscience shall smite you with all its terrors? Ye richest, ye merriest, ye most self-righteous sinners, who would stand in your place when God shall say, Awake, O sword, against the man that rejected me, smite him, and let him feel the smart forever? Jesus was spat upon, sinner. Sinner, what shame will be yours? We cannot sum up in one word all the mass of sorrows which met upon the head of Jesus who died for us. Therefore, it is impossible for us to tell you what streams, what oceans of grief must roll over your spirit if you die as you now are. You may die so, you may die now. By the agonies of Christ, by his wounds and by his blood, do not bring upon yourselves the wrath to come. Trust in the Son of God, and you shall never die. Wow. Strong, strong devotion this morning. All right, turning our attention now to the Word of God, Isaiah 46, reading out of the Legacy Standard Bible. God's Word tells us this. Bel is bowed down, Nebo stoops over. Their images are on the beasts of the cattle. The things that you carry are burdensome, a load for the weary beast. They stooped over. They have bowed down together. They could not rescue the load, but have themselves gone into captivity. Hear me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, you who have been burdening me from birth and have been carried from the womb. Even to your old age I will be the same, and even to your graying years I will bear you. I have done it, and I will carry you, and I will bear you, and I will rescue you. To whom would you liken me and make me equal and compare me, that we should be alike? Those who lavish gold from the purse and weigh silver on the scale. They hire a goldsmith and he makes it into a god. They fall down, indeed, they worship it. They carry it upon the shoulder and bear it. They set it in its place, and it stands there. It does not move from its place. Though one may cry to it, it cannot answer. It cannot save him from his distress. Remember this and be assured. Cause it to return to your heart, you transgressors. Remember the former things long past, for I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is no one like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, things which have not been done, saying, My counsel will be established, and I will accomplish all my good pleasure. Calling a bird of prey from the east, the man of my counsel from a far country. Truly I have spoken, truly I will bring it to pass. I have formed it, surely I will do it. Hear me, you stubborn of heart, who are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness, it is not far off. I am my salvation, and my salvation will not delay, and I will grant salvation in Zion and my glory for Israel. Chapter 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground without a throne, O daughters of the Chaldeans. For you shall no longer be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind flour, uncover your veil, strip off the skirt, uncover the leg, cross the rivers. Your nakedness will be uncovered, your reproach also will be seen. I will take vengeance and will not spare a man. Our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts, is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit silently and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you will no longer be called the Queen of Kingdoms. I was furious with my people. I profaned my inheritance. I gave them into your hand. You did not show compassion to them. On the aged, you made your yoke very heavy, yet you said, I will be a queen forever. These things you did not put on your heart, nor remember the outcome of them. So now hear this, you sensual one who sits securely, who says in your heart, I am, and there is no one beside me. I will not sit as a widow, nor know loss of children. But these two things will come on you suddenly in one day, loss of children and widowhood. They will come on you in full measure, in spite of your many sorceries, in spite of the great might of your spells. You felt secure in your evil and said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have turned you astray. So you have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one besides me. But evil will come on you, which you will not know how to charm away, and disaster will fall on you, for which you cannot atone, and destruction about which you do not know will come on you suddenly. Stand fast now in your spells and in your many sorceries, with which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps you will be able to profit. Perhaps you may cause trembling. You are wearied with your many counsels. Let now the astrologers, those who behold visions by the stars, those who predict by the new moon, stand up and save you from what will come upon you. Behold, they have become like stubble. Fire burns them. They cannot deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There will be no coal to warm by, nor a fire to sit before. Thus they have become for you those among whom you have labored, who have traded with you from your youth. Each has wandered in his own way. There is none to save you. Chapter 48. Hear this, O house of Jacob, who are called by the name Israel, and who came forth from the loins of Judah, who swear by the name of Yahweh, and bring to remembrance the God of Israel, but not in truth or in righteousness, for they call themselves after the holy city, and are supported by the God of Israel. Yahweh of hosts is his name. I declared the former things long ago, and they went forth from my mouth, and I caused them to be heard. Suddenly I acted, and they came to pass, because I know that you are stiff, and your neck is an iron sinew, and your forehead bronze. Therefore I declared them to you long ago. Before they happened, I caused them to be heard by you, lest you say, my idol has done them, and my graven image and my old molten image have commanded them. You have heard, look at all this, and you who will you not declare it? I caused you to hear new things from this time, even hidden things which you have not known. They are created now and not long ago, and before today you have not heard them, lest you say, behold, I knew them. Indeed, you have not heard. Indeed, you have not known. Indeed, even from long ago, your ear has not been open, because I knew that you would deal very treacherously. And you have been called a transgressor from the womb. For the sake of my name, I delay my anger, and for my praise, I restrain it for you, in order not to cut you off. Behold, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake, I will act, for how can my name be profaned? And my glory I will not give to another. Hear me, O Jacob, even Israel, whom I called. I am he, I am the first, I am also the last. Also my hand founded the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens. When I call to them, they stand together. Assemble, all of you, and hear. Who among them has declared these things? Yahweh loves him. He will carry out his good pleasure on Babylon, and his arm will be against the Chaldeans. Even I have spoken, indeed, I have called him. I have brought him, and he will make his ways successful. Draw near to me, hear this. From the first I have not spoken in secret. From the time it took place, I was there. So now Lord Yahweh has sent me and his spirit. Thus says Yahweh, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am Yahweh, your God, who teaches you to profit, who leads you in the way you should go. If only you had paid attention to my commands. Then your peace would have been like a river, and your righteousness like the waves of the sea. Your seed would have been like the sand, and the offspring from your loins like its grains. Their name would never be cut off or destroyed from my presence. Go forth from Babylon, free from the Chaldeans. Declare with the sound of joyful shouting. Cause this to be heard. Bring it forth to the end of the earth. Say, Yahweh has redeemed his servant Jacob. And they did not thirst when he led them through the waste places. He made the water flow out of the rock for them. He split the rock, and the water gushed forth. There is no peace for the wicked, says Yahweh. 49. Listen to me, O coastlands, and pay attention, you peoples from afar. Yahweh called me from the womb. From the body of my mother, he made my name to be remembered. He has set my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand he has concealed me, and he has also set me as a select arrow. He has hidden me in his quiver. He said to me, "You are my servant Israel, in whom I will show forth my beautiful glory." But I said, "I have toiled in vain. I have spent my might for nothing in vanity, yet surely the justice due to me is with Yahweh, and my reward with my God." So now says Yahweh, who formed me from the womb to be his servant, to return Jacob back to him, so that Israel might be gathered to him, for I am glorified in the sight of Yahweh, and my God is my strength. He says, "It is too small a thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to cause the preserved ones of Israel to return. I will also give you as a light of the nation, so that my salvation may reach to the end of the earth. Thus says Yahweh, the Redeemer of Israel and its Holy One, to the despised one, to the one abhorred by the nation, to the servant of rulers. Kings will see and arise, princes will also bow down, because of Yahweh who is faithful, the Holy One of Israel, who has chosen you. Thus says Yahweh. In an acceptable time I have answered you, and in the day of salvation I have helped you. And I will guard you and give you for a covenant of the people, to establish the land, to make them inherit the desolate inheritance. Saying to those who are bound, "Go forth," to those who are in darkness, "Show yourselves." Along the roads they will feed, and their pastures will be on all bare heights. They will not hunger or thirst, nor will the scorching heat or sun strike them down. For he who has compassion on them will guide them and will lead them to springs of water. I will set all my mountains as a road, and my highways will be raised up. Behold, these who will come from afar, and behold, these will come from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. Shout for joy, O heavens, and rejoice, O earth. Break forth into joyful shouting, O mountains, for Yahweh has comforted his people, and will have compassion on his afflicted. But Zion said, "Yahweh has forsaken me, and the Lord has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her infant and have no compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget, but I will not forget you. Behold, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. Your builders hurry. Your destroyers and devastators will depart from you. Lift up your eyes and look around. All of them gather together. They come to you. As I live, declares Yahweh, you will surely put on all of them as jewels and bind them on as a bride. For your devastated and desolated places and your destroyed land, surely now you will be too cramped for the inhabitants, and those who swallowed you will be far away. The children of whom you were bereaved will yet say in your ears, "The place is too cramped for me. Make room for me, that I may live here." Then you will say in your heart, "Who has borne these for me?" Indeed, I have been bereaved of my children, and am barren, an exile, and a wanderer. And who has reared these? Behold, I remained alone. For where did these come? From where did these come? Thus says Lord Yahweh, "Behold, I will lift up my hand to the nations, and make high my standard to the peoples. And they will bring your sons in their bosom, and your daughters will be lifted up on their shoulders. Kings will be your guardians, and their princesses your nurses. They will bow down to you with their faces to the earth and lick the dust of your feet. And you will know that I am Yahweh. Those who hope in me will not be put to shame. Can the prey be taken from the mighty man, or the captives of the righteous be granted escape? Surely, thus says Yahweh, even the captives of the mighty man will be taken away, and the prey of the tyrant will be granted escape. For I will contend with the one who contends with you, and I will save your sons. I will feed those who mistreat you with their own flesh, and they will become drunk with their own blood, as with sweet wine. And all flesh will know that I, Yahweh, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. Chapter 50. Thus says Yahweh, there is the certificate of divorce. Where is the certificate of divorce by which I have sent your mother away? Or to which of my creditors did I sell you? Behold, you were sold for your iniquities, and for your transgressions your mother was sent away. Why was there no man when I came? When I called, why was there none to answer? Is my hand so short that it cannot ransom, or have I no power to deliver? Behold, I dry up the sea with my rebuke. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish stink for lack of water and die of thirst. I clothe the heavens with blackness and make sackcloth their covering. Lord Yahweh has given me the tongue of disciples, that I may know how to sustain the weary one with a word. Dishonored. Therefore I have set my face like flint, and I know that He who vindicates me is near. Who will contend with me? Let us stand up to each other. Who has a judgment against me? Let him approach me. Behold, Lord Yahweh helps me. Who is he who condemns me? Behold, they will all wear out like a garment. The moth will eat them. Who is among you that fears Yahweh, that listens to the voice of the servant, that walks in darkness and has no light? Let him trust in the name of Yahweh and rely on his God. Behold, all you who kindle a fire, who gird yourselves with firebrands, walk in the light of your fire, and among the brands you have set ablaze. This you will have from my hand. You will lie down in torment. Chapter 51. Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness, who seek Yahweh. Look to the rock from which you were hewn, and to the quarry from which you were dug. Look to Abraham your father, and to Sarah, who brought you forth through labor pains. When he was but one, I called him. Then I blessed him and multiplied him. Indeed, Yahweh will comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places, and her wilderness he will make like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahweh. Joy and gladness will be found in her, thanksgiving and sound of a melody. Pay attention to me, O my people, and give ear to me, O my nation. For a law will go forth from me, and I will set my justice for a light of the peoples. My righteousness is near, my salvation has gone forth, and my arms will judge the peoples. The coastlands will hope in me, and for my arm they will wait expectantly. Lift up your eyes to the sky, then look to the earth beneath. For the sky will vanish like smoke, and the earth will wear out like a garment, and its inhabitants will die in like manner. But my salvation will be forever, and my righteousness will not be dismayed. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, a people in whose heart is my law. Do not fear the reproach of man, nor be dismayed at their revilings. For the moth will eat them like a garment, and the grub will eat them like wool. But my righteousness will be forever, and my salvation to all generations. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yahweh. Awake, as in the days of old, the generations of long ago. Was it not you who chopped Rahab in pieces, who pierced the dragon? Was it not you who dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, who made the depths of the sea a pathway for the redeemed to cross over? So the ransomed of Yahweh will return and come with joyful shouting to Zion, and everlasting gladness will be on their heads. They will obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. Even I, am he who comforts you. Who are you that you are afraid of man who dies, and of the Son of Man who is made like grass? That you have forgotten Yahweh your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth. That you tremble and dread continually all day long because of the wrath of the one who brings distress, as he makes ready to bring ruin. But where is the wrath of the one who brings distress? The one in chains will soon be set free and will not die in the pit, nor will his bread be lacking. For I am Yahweh your God, who stirs up the sea and its waves roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. I have put my words in your mouth, and have covered you with the shadow of my hand, to establish the heavens, to found the earth, and to say to Zion, you are my people. Awake, awaken yourself, arise, O Jerusalem, you who have drunk from the hand of Yahweh the cup of his wrath, the chalice of reeling you have drained to the dregs. There is none to guide her among all the sons she has borne, nor is there one to take hold of her by the hand among all the sons she has reared. These two things have befallen you. Who will console you? The devastation and destruction, famine and sword. How shall I comfort you? Your sons have fainted. They lie helpless at the head of every street, like an antelope in a net, full of the wrath of Yahweh, the rebuke of your God. Therefore now listen to this, you afflicted, who are drunk, but not with wine. Thus says your Lord, Yahweh, even your God, who contends for his people. Behold, I have taken out of your hand the cup of reeling, the chalice of my wrath. You will never drink it again. I will set it into the hand of those who cause you grief, who have said to you, lie down that we may walk over you. You have even set your back down like the ground, and like the street for those who walk over it. Chapter 52. Awake, awake, clothe yourself in your strength, O Zion. Clothe yourself in your glorious garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For the uncircumcised and the unclean will no longer come into you. Shake yourself from the dust. Rise up, O captive Jerusalem. Loose yourself from the chains around your neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus says Yahweh, you were sold for nothing, and you will be redeemed without money. For thus says Lord Yahweh, my people went down at the first into Egypt to sojourn there. Then the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. So now, what do I have here, declares Yahweh? Since my people have been taken away for nothing, Yahweh declares, those who rule over them howl, and my name is continually blasphemed all day long. Therefore, my people shall know my name. Therefore, in that day, I am the one who is speaking. Here I am. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who proclaims good news, who announces peace and proclaims good news of good things, who announces salvation and says to Zion, your God reigns. The voice of your watchmen. They lift up their voices, they shout joyfully together, for they will see with their own eyes when Yahweh returns to Zion. Break forth, shout joyfully together, you waste place of Jerusalem, for Yahweh has comforted his people and he has redeemed Jerusalem. Yahweh has bared his holy arm in the sight of all the nations, that all the ends of the earth may see the salvation of our God. Depart, depart, go out from there, touch nothing unclean. Go out of the midst of her, purify yourselves, you who carry the vessels of Yahweh. But you will not go out in haste, nor will you go as those who flee, for Yahweh will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. Behold, my servant will prosper. He will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted, just as many were appalled at you, my people. So his appearance was marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. Thus he will sprinkle many nations. Kings will shut their mouths on account of him. For what had not been told them, they will see, and what they had not heard, they will understand. Chapter 53. Chapter 53. Who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of Yahweh been revealed? For he grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of parched ground. He has no stately form or majesty that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and forsaken of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And like one from whom men hide their face, he was despised, and we did not esteem him. Surely our griefs he himself bore, and our sorrows he carried. Yet we ourselves esteemed him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was pierced through for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The chastening for our peace fell upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. All of us, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, but Yahweh has caused the iniquity of us all to fall on him. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearers, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, that for the transgressions of my people striking was due to him? So his grave was assigned with wicked men, yet he was with a rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. But Yahweh was pleased to crush him, putting him to grief. If you would place his soul as a guilt offering, he will see his seed, he will prolong his days, and the good pleasure of Yahweh will succeed in his hand. As a result of the anguish of his soul, he will see it and be satisfied. By his knowledge, the righteous one, my servant, will justify the many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore, I will divide for him a portion with the many, and he will divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he himself bore the sins of many and interceded for the transgressors. Hey, Holly. Chapter 54. I like Holly, and maybe for some of you, one of my favorite chapters of all the Bible is Isaiah 53. It is Isaiah's gospel, as it is said. Chapter 54. Shout for joy, O barren woman who has not given birth. Break forth into joyful shouting and cry aloud, you who have not been in labor. For more numerous are the sons of the desolate one than the sons of the married woman, says Yahweh. Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch out the curtains of your dwellings. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your pegs. For you will spread abroad to the right and to the left, and your seed will possess nations and will resettle the desolate cities. Do not be afraid, for you will not be put to shame. And do not feel dishonored, for you will not be humiliated. But you will forget the shame of your virginity, and the reproach of your widowhood you will remember no more. For your husband is your maker, whose name is Yahweh of hosts, and your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel, who is called the God of all the earth. For Yahweh has called you, like a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, even like a wife of one's youth when she is rejected, says your God. For a brief moment I forsook you, but with great compassion I will gather you. In a flood of fury I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting loving kindness I will have compassion on you, says Yahweh your Redeemer. For this is like the days of Noah to me, when I swore that the waters of Noah would not overflow the earth again. So I have sworn that I will not be furious with you, nor will I rebuke you. For the mountains may be removed and the hills may shake, but my loving kindness will not be removed from you, and my covenant of peace will not be shaken, says Yahweh who has compassion on you. O afflicted one, storm-tossed and not comforted, behold, I will lay your stones in antimony, and your foundations I will set in sapphires. Moreover, I will make your battlements of rubies and your gates of crystal and your entire wall of precious stones. All your sons will be taught of Yahweh, and the peace of your sons will be great. In righteousness you will be established. You will be far from oppression, for you will not fear, and from terror, for it will not come near you. If anyone fiercely attacks you, it will not be from me. Whoever attacks you will fall because of you. Behold, I myself have created the craftsman who blows the fire of coals and brings out a weapon for its work. And I have created the bringer of ruin to wreak destruction. No weapon that is formed against you will succeed, and every tongue that accuses you in judgment you will condemn. This is the inheritance of the slaves of Yahweh, and their righteousness is from me, declares Yahweh. Chapter 55. Ho! Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And you who have no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without cost. Why do you spend money for what is not bread, and your wages for what does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me, and eat what is good, and delight your soul in richness. Incline your ear and come to me. Listen, that your soul may live, and I will cut an everlasting covenant with you, according to the faithful loving kindness of David. Behold, I have given him as a witness to the peoples, a ruler and a commander for the peoples. Behold, you will call a nation you do not know, and a nation which knows you not will run to you, because of Yahweh your God, even the Holy One of Israel. For he has adorned you with beautiful glory. Seek Yahweh while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to Yahweh, and he will have compassion on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, declares Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return there without watering the earth and making it bear and sprout and giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so will my word be which goes forth from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, without accomplishing what pleases me, and without succeeding in the matter for which I sent it. For you will go out with gladness and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills will break forth into shouts of joy before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Instead of the thorn bush, the cypress will come up, and instead of the nettle, the myrtle will come up, and it will be to Yahweh for his renown, for an everlasting sign which will not be cut off. Chapter 56. Thus says Yahweh, keep justice and do righteousness, for my salvation is about to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Now, blessed is the man who does this, and the Son of Man who takes hold of it, who keeps from profaning the Sabbath, and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahweh say, Yahweh will surely separate me from his people. Nor let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree, for thus says Yahweh, to the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths and choose what pleases me, and hold fast my covenant, to them I will give in my house and within my walls a memorial and a name better than that of sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name which will not be cut off. Also the foreigners who join themselves to Yahweh to minister to him, to love the name of Yahweh, to be his slave, every one who keeps from profaning the Sabbath and takes hold of my covenant, even those I will bring to my holy mountain and make them glad in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be acceptable on my altar. My house will be called a house of prayer for all the peoples. Lord Yahweh, who gathers the banished of Israel, declares, yet others I will gather to them, to those already gathered. All you beasts of the field, all you beasts in the forest come to eat. His watchmen are blind. All of them know nothing. All of them are mute dogs unable to bark, dreamers lying down, who love to slumber. And the dogs have a strong appetite. They do not know satisfaction. And they are shepherds who do not know understanding. They have all turned to their own way, each one to his greedy gain, to the last one. Come, they say, let us take wine and let us drink heavily of strong drink. And tomorrow will be like today, beyond exceedingly great. Chapter 57. The righteous man perishes, and no man puts it upon his heart. And men of loving kindness are gathered away, while no one understands. For the righteous man is gathered away from evil; he enters into peace. They rest in their beds, each one who walked in his upright way. But draw near, you sons of a soothsayer, seed of an adulterer and a prostitute. Against whom do you jest? Against whom do you open wide your mouth and stick out your tongue? Are you not children of transgression, seed of lying, who inflame yourselves among the oaks, under every green tree, who slaughter the children in the ravines, under the clefts of the cliffs? Among the smooth stones of the ravine is your portion, they are your lot. Even to them you have poured out a drink offering, you have made a grain offering. Shall I relent concerning these things? Upon a mountain lofty and lifted up, you have made your bed. You also went up there to offer sacrifice. Behind the door and the doorposts, you have set up your memorial. Indeed, far removed from me, you have uncovered yourself, and have gone up and made your bed wide. Uh, and and you have cut a covenant for yourself with them. You have loved their bed. You have looked on their manhood. You have journeyed to the king with oil and increased your perfume. You have sent your envoys a great distance and made them go down to Sheol. You were tired out by the length of your road, yet you did not say, it is hopeless. You found renewed strength, therefore you did not faint. Of whom? Were you anxious and fearful when you lied and did not remember me, nor even put me upon your heart? Was I not silent even for a long time, so you do not fear me? I will declare your righteousness and your deeds, but they will not profit you. When you cry out, let your collection of idols deliver you. But the wind will lift all of them up, and a breath will take them away. But he who takes refuge in me will inherit the land and will possess my holy mountain. And it will be said, build up, prepare the way, remove every stumbling block out of the way of my people. For thus says the one high and lifted up, who dwells forever, whose name is holy. I dwell on a high and holy mountain, a holy place, and I also with crushed and also with the crushed and lowly of spirit, in order to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the crushed. For I will not contend forever, nor will I always be angry. For the spirit would grow faint before me, and the breath of those whom I have made. Because of the iniquity of his greedy gain, I was angry and struck him. I hid my face and was angry. And he went on, turning away in the way of his heart. I have seen his ways, but I will heal him. I will lead him and pay him and his mourners in full with comfort, creating the praise of the lips. Peace, peace to him who is far and to him who is near, says Yahweh, and I will heal him. But the wicked are like the tossing sea, for I cannot be quiet, and its waters toss up refuse and mud. There is no hope, says my God, for the wicked. All right, chapter 58, we'll finish here. Let's see. That'll be 13 chapters today. Praise the Lord. Chapter 58, call out from your throat, do not hold back. Raise your voice like a trumpet, and declare to my people their transgression, and to the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me day by day, and find pleasure in knowing my ways. As a nation that has done righteousness and has not forsaken the judgment of their God, they ask me for righteous judgments. They find pleasure in the nearness of God. Why have we fasted and you do not see? Why have we afflicted our souls and you do not know? Behold, on the day of your fast, you find your desire and oppress all your workers. Behold, you fast for contention and quarreling and to strike with a wicked fist. You do not fast like you do today to make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast like this which I choose, a day of a man to afflict himself? Is it for bowing one's head like a reed, and for spreading out sackcloth and ashes as a bed? Will you call this a fast, even an acceptable day to Yahweh? Is this not the fast which I choose, to loosen the bonds of wickedness, to release the bands of the yoke, and to let the oppressed go free and break every yoke? Is it not to divide your bread with the hungry and bring the afflicted homeless into the house? When you see the naked, you cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light will break out like the dawn, and your recovery will speedily spring forth. And your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of Yahweh will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and Yahweh will answer. You will cry, and he will say, Here I am. If you remove the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and speaking wickedness. And if you offer your soul to the hungry and satisfy the soul of the afflicted, then your light will rise in darkness, and your thick darkness will become like midday. And Yahweh will continually guide you and satisfy your soul in scorched places and fortify your bones. And you will be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. Those from among you will rebuild the ancient waste places. You will raise up the foundations of past generation upon generation, and you will be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the paths for one to inhabit. If because of the Sabbath you turn your foot from doing your own desire on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of Yahweh honorable, and honor it by not doing your own ways, by not finding your own desire and speaking your own word, then you will take delight in Yahweh, and I will make you ride on the heights of the earth, and I will feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, from the mouth of Yahweh, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken. All right, we're going to stop there. We'll pick up tomorrow morning in Isaiah 59. Tomorrow morning, remember, it's Tuesday, which means we will meet an hour later, 8 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Chicago time, for you folks outside the U.S. Hope you all have a blessed day in the Lord. I love you guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning for another edition of Bible Reading Fellowship. Bye-bye.